It is also part of our charter to develop and own biomass facilities. This is a new group. It's been in existence for only about 6 months. We're growing a staff. I'm one of the newer members. It is our intention to look carefully at biomass, and as a matter of fact, we've been approached recently to look at a study for a 15 megawatt biomass plant in the Fort Bragg area. We're going to carefully consider that.
Well, we have some other prime locations too.
We'd love to hear about it.
That doesn't impede the coastal, be in the coastal zone or anything.
We'd love to hear about that. And let me just speak to that. Many people have commented, why don't you do something else? Why don't you do wind? Why don't you do solar, way out somewhere else? And the reason is that we're doing everything that we can for renewable energy technologies to develop them. Ocean energy has been identified as one of the most potentially significant contributors of carbon-free energy in the world. And therefore, as part of our portfolio approach to developing low-carbon, carbon-free renewable resources, we're looking at all of these areas. This is just simply one part of a very large program. PG&E has one of this country's largest amounts of renewable energy, either under ownership or under contract to buy and distribute in the country. That is our future.
Thank you. Other comments, questions? To the CEO.
Just a quick question for
Yes,
you.
sir.
Is the data from your studies going to be available as public information?
Yes. Yeah.
And will that be dealt with through the media, or will you supply it to the city of Fort Bragg and the county? How will you make that outreach?
Well, certainly with the county and the city, we will directly send you anything that we're going to file, which would include data in support of applications or regulatory requirements. We're going to have a website for the project that will have these documents and data posted. We will have links on this webpage, for instance, to go to all of the other agencies that would have a docket for this project, for instance, with the FERC or with California State Lands or the State Energy Commission, so that people will have one place to go to find all the information. But in addition, we're going to directly send the county all of these in advance of making them available on the website, and in advance of filing them with the authorities.
Will that include such data as the cable structure and how
Yes.
they're anchored, and,
Yes.
and where you're going to bring, how you're going to tie that power grid
Yes.
together? Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. And we will file that in time to give realistic time for study and comment by the county to feed back to us, so that we might amend the draft information that we would later send to the agency.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions from the board before I go to public comment? Okay, hearing none, I do have 2 speaker cards. The first gentleman, David Gurney, has a audio-visual presentation,
Let me unhook
and
it.
it's going to take a
Yeah,
couple
go ahead.
minutes. So I'll
Hold
take
that.
the second speaker, Terry Neves.
No, okay. Otherwise, I would give that to you. Okay, here you go.
Hi, Supervisors. My name's Terry Nieves. I've lived in the county for about 15 years. I am a sea vegetable harvester. I am also a fierce ocean protector. I'm also a whale watcher. I have submitted an 8-page report of some research that my partner and I have done about wave energy throughout the world. It's my belief that this is a poor location to actually do this kind of an experiment. Being in the ocean many times myself throughout the years, I don't really see how, when we live on on the fault zone that we live on, that we can say that these things would stay anchored into the bottom of the ocean. And I think that's the first thing that hasn't even been taken into consideration is how are they going to stay there if there's an earthquake? They're big, they're huge. The whales are out there. I've seen hundreds of them this year. They don't know how to go in and out of them. There will be hundreds of them out there if this experiment actually works. I don't know how we consider remediation for marine life that are used to going along our coast. I know there's really not any remediation for being able to see them because you could, as you'll see in some of the results of this document that we put together, you can pretty much see anything that's out in the ocean. You can see the towboat that goes and pulls the tugboat that goes and pulls the two boats behind it, which is probably more than 3 miles out. And I feel like this is something that has come upon us very quickly and that we haven't had really any opportunity to have any input as public citizens of Mendocino County. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other members of the public wishing to speak on this item as we're awaiting technical resolution here? Okay.
If I could make just one additional comment.
Please, step forward.
I want to make it very clear that as part of the desire to have a world-class wave energy demonstration project, this is not a fait accompli. It may be that after the environmental studies that have been done and the consultations with all the agencies, all the stakeholders, county and the city, it may be that a project is not feasible. It may be that we have too much of an impact on mammal migration or on fishing uses, and we would not do the project. This is not something that is destined to be. It's something that we have to demonstrate will be compatible with the existing uses of that ocean.
Thank you.
I'm sorry for the technical difficulties. I was here early and PG&E disconnected my computer. Why don't you just speak?
Excuse me, Mr. Johnson. I'll conduct the meeting. Thank you very much. Please step forward, Terry.
I have a couple of questions related to the report, and one of them that's befuddling to me is, if my understanding is correct, there will be no devices put in the ocean for the duration of the preliminary permit. You're shaking your head, so that's correct. And there are going to be studies done to try to determine what the impact of the devices would be, but there's no devices in the water. And so I would appreciate your sense of how that fits together. No devices in the water, studying the impact of the devices. That's one.
If I may reply to that. The preliminary permit period, which is a 3-year period that started a month ago, is to conduct environmental and feasibility studies of a proposed project that we would make a license application for in 2 to 3 years. We would, if we were granted a license to develop a project in the water with this license, that would be the time that we would have equipment in the water to gain